you so much.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. So what am I supposed to say?
You're just supposed to say
I can't see the celebrant here. She here. She says say it in absentia. Okay. All right. We thank God for today, and I'll give a brief narrative of our first met Yvonne. I think it was actually 2004. Yeah. Back then, I have to acknowledge some of my elders too in the industry. That's Uncle Tony Akosheri. I can't say anything without going with the tradition of acknowledging those who were before me in the industry. And back then, Nollywood, when we were doing films back then, we were just doing it. We were not really trying to ape anything. We just the love of it. So it was actually a very novel and pleasant surprise when we discovered within that era, that was between 1995 to 2003, that our films were traveling all over the world, that people in the diaspora, all over Africa were watching our films. So some of us started talking about standards, let's start shooting now with standards, because we knew we couldn't compete with Hollywood, but we knew that we had grown an industry that Africans were getting very proud of, and it was something that was also giving a chance, or lots of chances, to young people with talents, to come into the industry. So in that period, 2005, I had a lot of filming. My films were all over the place and all that. But I remember there was one evening, it was at about 4 p.m. at Babs Animation Street in Surulere. If you know Babs Animation Street, it's at the opposite the National Youth Service Corps. We had what was called the Nigerian Film Market there. There were a group of shops, we independent producers then, we opened on the industry. So we decided to take our own fate in our hands, and we opened our own shop. So one of such evenings, I was there, I would go from my office was in Surulere, so I would come in the evenings and check with the sales girl how sales, what the sales for the day was all about. And so I stood outside by my car, outside the parking lot, there, and I think I was on my phone or something. Then I saw a couple of young girls, the teenagers, I think, or something. So they walked past me, and so I was on my phone, and then I heard somebody say, "That's just Novia, that's just Novia," So I looked up, and it was this young teenager. I'm sure she must have been 18, or she looked very young, So I was, there was a certain boldness in the way she said, "Good evening, sir, good evening, sir." So I said, "How are you?" She said, "Fine." I said, "Come." And she came, I said, "Do you know me?" She said, "Yeah, I know," because, basically if you're behind the cameras, it's a bit rare for people to know you, So he said, "Yeah, I know you, you're Charles, tell me, I watch your films and all that." And I said, "Oh, how are you?" "Fine." And she said, "I want to act." I get that a lot. It's one of the things we hear a lot. And I said, "You want to act?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know how to act?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." So I gave her my card, and I said, "You will come to there's an audition in my office, so you come and I would audition you for my next movie." And she came a couple of days later, I think the next day, and she did very well. So I said, "Okay, this is very good." I said, "This is good. I don't have any, I would have to take you to a few of my friends and introduce you." And I took her around to a few of my friends. I said, "This is young and upcoming actress, but I think she has something." So at that time, I was one of my most popular films then, one of my biggest selling films. I don't know whether some of you will be Gen Z right now, but then I had a film out that also brought out Desmond Elliott. The film was titled Missing Angel. That was Desmond Elliott's big breakthrough as well, and so it was such a big hit. And I was writing the part 2, to the film then. So And I just finished the script. So I said, you know, Yvonne, you'll be good for this role. So I cast her in the role, and I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. She was a little bit. One of the things about Yvonne was that she was very, very humble, very, very well respected. You know, very respectful, well brought up. So it's quite a great credit to her parents and dad. So you really brought up a wonderful daughter. And she was always respectful. Even she has been doing that from the first day she saw me till now. Even when she saw me here just now, she knelt down. She does that all the time. Embarrasses me at times because I know that, but she does that. She's a well brought up young lady. And so we give her that role, and then there were other roles. I think after that, because this is how it works in Hollywood, when you are a producer with a hit film, or you have a slew of hit films, when you're coming out with your film, or your next film, everybody's watching out for your film. And then if there's an actor or an actress in the film that catches their eye, everybody will rush that person and say, we want to work with us. But I think that's how it opened the floodgates for her. And she did a couple of films with me too. I think there was, I was commissioned by the Redeemed Christian Church of God to do a few films for their Dove Media. So I gave her a lead role in one, funny enough. No actress really wanted that role, but Yvonne was very, 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 she said she would take it, she would do the role. She was fit for the role, actually, so I gave her, but the title of that movie is titled The AIDS Patient. You know, she played the lead character there, and it was quite a big one too. And from there, through the years, I've seen and watched her grow, and she's carried herself with so much grace, and her creative talents, you know, are quite stellar, and her humanity, you know, she has this. She's so much of a wonderful person. She likes to help people, from what I've noticed and all that. It's something else. So I'm quite proud and very pleased to be part of, it is not me, it's God, but somewhere along the line God used me, so part of her success story. And these are part of the things that make some of us behind the cameras or behind the scenes quite happy when you see that efforts you've put into people yield fruits, because that's how it is. Like Davido always say, we rise by lifting others, and this is quite a good and powerful example of that. So I'd like to thank you all for coming, and wishing Yvonne will be here another 20 years from now by God's grace to celebrate 40 years in the industry. Thank you very much.